Hello, Daily Drafters. Today is Friday, November 19th, and thanks for joining me for today's Daily Draft. This will be our 6th draft of Innistrad Crimson Vow, and we're hoping to break our little 2 and 3 streak that we have here with this video. So let's see what we can open. So let's move this view for you. Let's see, so our rare is Geralf Visionary Stitcher, 3 mana, 1/4. Zombies you control have flying. You can also sacrifice another non-token creature, create an XX blue zombie creature where X is the sacrificed creature's toughness. Seems okay. A little bit of a blue-black gold card. It's not outstanding, I don't think, and I do see a bleed dry here. As much as So over the last several drafts, we've noticed that removal is super important in this set. And I'm wondering if bleed dry is just more important than Geralf here. This is a really close pick between these two cards. I think I don't know. I think I'm actually going to go with bleed dry. So this leaves us open a little bit, considering this is a little bit more blue-black specific, and I don't think it's outstanding. Obviously, some zombies having flying can be good, but I think removal is more important. So I'm going to start here and see where we can go from there. All right, so we have a Cobbled Lancer. Seems like a decent card. That puts us right in blue-black again, though. Vile Spawn Spider means we have to get away from our bleed dry. Frenzied Devils, I don't think is necessarily good enough here. Chill of the Grave, decent card. 2 black cards I don't think are worth taking this early. There is an Evolving Wilds if we want to delay the decision here. There's also a Flourishing Hunter. I have liked Flourishing Hunter, and I've liked green a little bit in this set. Interesting pick here. I think I might go with Flourishing Hunter. Having the biggest thing on the battlefield that can also have a chance to gain you anywhere from 3 to 6 life seems like a good plan here, because I don't want to take another black card. This puts us in blue-black, and I think maybe the best card might be the Spider or the Lancer, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Hunter here. So as far as black or green cards go, we have Edgar's Awakening, Scavenger, and the Millipede. Gluttonous Guest being tier 2 there. There's a lot of red, but I don't see a lot of great red here. So I don't necessarily know about Edgar's Awakening. It is a good combo with Flourishing Hunter, because we do want to return good creatures. But I haven't had a chance to play with the Scavenger yet, and I'm kind of excited to. I think this is a pretty good card. 4 mana, 2/3 Death Touch that can exile a creature, which can nab disturb creatures, and then drains them for 2. It just seems like a good rate here. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Scavenger and see where we can go. So no green cards here. But there is 5 black cards, which seems good. So let's stick with black. And as far as the best card in black, I'm not a big fan of Groom's Finery. I don't think it fits in most black decks in the format. Blood Crazed Socialite seems fine. Doomed Dissenter if we can get some exploit, which we currently don't have any. Grisly Ritual. You know, as much as I didn't like this card coming into the format, I'm a little higher on it now because unconditional removal seems very good. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the Ritual here and stay black. Now the only black card is Aim for the Head, and I think the best card in the pack is Flame Blessed Bolt, being removal, right? We're not necessarily married to this Hunter, and we could very easily get into red-black with Flame Blessed Bolt here. Because if we were going to go green, I'm not excited about any of these green cards. I mean, I'd probably play a Wolf or 2, but we don't need to take that over a good removal spell in a different color. So let's go ahead and take the red card here and see what comes. So we have 6 mana, 6/4 dies, deal 3 to anything. Seems okay. Maybe a little bit out of place, especially in red-black. Courier Bat. We do have a Scavenger for life gain already, but that's a 7 mana combo. Courier Bat, Flourishing Hunter, that's a 9 mana combo. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Courier Bat here. Stay black. Next best card being maybe Pyre Spawn. Scattered Thought seems good too, but I want to go ahead and stay black. So we're seeing a lot of blue here now. We've had 2 straight days of blue-black. But I think the best card in the pack is... Actually, there is a Hookhand Mariner here, which I do like in green-black. There's a Stitched Assistant as well, which would be our first black-blue card. Or first blue card to go into black-blue. But I think Hookhand Mariner is just a good enough rate, and we already have a Hunter, that can go well in green-black for us. So let's take the Mariner here. Don't like Imprisonment. These are just kind of replaceable. I think we can take the Rural Recruit, but I don't know if it's going to fit super well in our deck here. There is also just the Millipede, but that has a really low fail case. It could be a 5-mana 2/2, which is just awful. I think I'll take the Recruit, but I'm not super high on that, especially right now. Lacerate Flesh, a bit of a clunky removal spell, but it is removal. There's also Spiked Ripsaw. We had this in one deck earlier. We never saw it, and I think it's pretty good. Especially, if we put this on a Flourishing Hunter, it's a 9/9 with threatening to be trample. That's hard to deal with, right? Same thing, Mariner's a 7/7. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Ripsaw here. No black or green cards. So, and really nothing that I'm super excited to play. I think Reckless Impulse might be a little bit better than it looks. So I'm just going to take it, but I don't think it's really pushing us toward red necessarily. So more red here. I wonder if red-green could be a route that we could go here. We would be giving up on a Bleed Dry, a Ritual Scavenger, but let me go ahead and take the red card. And another one. So this wants to go in red-green. This is a werewolf. This is a wolf. So I think we could take a look at red-green here and see what Pack 2 brings us on that front, right? Let's see. So red rare, 3 mana. Creatures attacking enchanted player have trample. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to that player, they exile the top of their library, and then we can cast it till the end of turn. I don't know how good that is. It seems super swingy. It seems almost like a win more card. If I'm attacking them and hitting them, isn't that already what I'm already ahead, right? So what does this do? Make me get even more ahead? If I'm behind and I play this card and I'm not attacking, it does stone cold nothing, right? We could take another Ripsaw. There is a good 2-drop here. Skulking Killer, not great. It's the only black card here. Weary Prisoner, Sure Strike. Infestation Expert, a little slow. Maybe we can lean into green-red a little bit here. Let's take the 2-drop and see where this goes, right? So we do have a Braid. We have Markov Retribution, a little bit better in black-red, which we still could be, but if we are black-red, we're not leaning vampires. And then Laid to Rest. Almost a green-white gold card here. We have probably 0 humans. We have 2 humans. Both of these here being in green. I think I still want to lean towards red-green here. A Braid. Among the best commons in the set. Good removal, right? And red-green doesn't have great removal. So if we're going to switch out of the good removal that we have in black, we need to replace it with good removal in red. So let's take the Abrade. Runo Stromkirk, not for us. There's another 2-drop, which plays well because they're basically all 2-mana 3/2s the more we can get down. Combatants seems fine in an aggressive deck. Lacerate Flesh, a bit of a clunky removal spell, but it is something we could play. Frenzied Devils, too slow. Fearful Villager, haven't been impressed by, and then Witch's Web. Take the 2-drop again. So I think we're leaning towards red-green with this deck here, right? So another Hunter, a Laid to Rest, a Sharpshooter, and a Pyre Spawn. we're not real. I do like Laid to Rest, I think. I haven't seen it on the battlefield yet, but I think it has the ability to be a good card. We're just not really leaning towards humans so much. I'm going to take another Hunter. Goes well with our first one. And I'm going to, for the time being, move our worst black cards to the sideboard as we maybe tunnel in on red-green here. Just as I say that, this Wedding Security may be the best card in the pack, but yeah, it's basically a 5-mana 5/5 that draws a card on attack once, kind of. But again, there's still good red-green wolves here, right? So 2-drop or a 1-drop. We have a lot of 2-drops already, but I think this one's a fine 2-drop, right? So I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the 2-drop again. Bramble Armor, Evolving Wilds, the only 2 cards we can really consider. Honored Heirloom, but I don't think that's for us. I don't necessarily want Bramble Armor. We'll take the Wilds in case we need to splash. Things drying up a little bit here. Falkenrath Celebrants and Ancestral Anger, the only cards we can really consider. Let's take the Celebrants. Next best card. Griff Rider's decent. Courier Bat, Binding Geist, but again, not for us. Okay, so 4 cards here. Not Mulch, don't need Millipede, Bloody Betrayal. We don't have Sacrifice, doesn't seem great. I guess we can take a Weary Prisoner. On the early chopping block, but maybe we could play it if we need to. There's another one. Here's another Ripsaw. I don't know if 2 is going to be great, because if you have 1, that's really all you need, I feel. There's another Prisoner and a Sure Strike. Sure Strike really helps out with all these early 2-drops that we have, so I'm going to actually take the first Sure Strike over the second Ripsaw. That could be incorrect, but spending 6 mana a turn to equip Ripsaws just seems a little too clunky for me. Don't need that. Maybe I really don't think we need 3 mana +1/+0. Do we have any vampires? We have 1. Witch's Web, Combatants. Okay, Combatants being a pretty good aggressive card here, and we're looking to be a little bit more aggressive. We can go ahead and take Combatants. Alright, so finishing up pack 2, we're looking to be a little on the aggressive side here. We see a 3rd Ripsaw. And we kind of struck out here in pack 3. Bleed Dry, but I think the Black Dream has sailed. We're a little bit more into red-green here now. With our curve looking decent. Some 3-drops might be nice, but I really hate to pick a Snarling Wolf here, but because we're looking to be aggressive, early creatures are great. Maybe if the Ripsaw wheels, there's likely not going to be anything else in this pack we would need, so we could consider playing it if it does wheel like the other one did. So let's take the 1-drop. Right now we have 2 removal spells. Wow, all the Ripsaws here today. We can take another 2-drop. Don't think this 1-drop fits with our deck. Odric is not worth splashing, right? I mean, right now we don't really have any keywords except Menace. There is a 4-drop here. Let's see how our 4-drops are looking. Seems fine, because we don't necessarily need to play the Recruits or the Prisoners if we don't want to. So I think a good 4-drop here. Would play another Ridgewolf if it came back. But let's go ahead and take the 4-drop. Alright, so here's another one, but there's also an Abrade. Removal's great. I think we need removal. Cards that could wheel that we would consider playing. A Mariner, Witch's Web, Massive Might. Maybe a Pirate's Bomb, but we already have 2 6-drops. So we're going to go ahead and take Abrade. Not particularly close there. Another Sure Strike and another Hookhand Mariner. So we could really sure up our 4-drop slots by taking another Mariner here, and I think we will, because there's a chance a Sure Strike wheels, and I might consider playing a second. But I'd much rather a 3rd Mariner even over a Wary Prisoner. And possibly over a Recruit if we don't need to play that either. So let's take the Mariner. Really only thing in consideration here is Weaver of Blossoms, and I'm not sure it fits in with this deck. Maybe it does because of the double 6-drops, but we can make that decision in deck build. Ancient Lumberknot. I think that dream has sailed, so we have another 4-drop. We have that Massive Might we were talking about, which works really well with our big creatures here. So having access to 1 Massive Might is probably not bad. There is another Weaver, but I'm not sure I even want to play 1, so I'm not sure about the second. So let's go ahead and take a Massive Might. Nothing here for us, so we'll cut green. Another Hunter, and there's a Ridge Wolf. Would we play 3 Hunters in this deck? I think maybe so, because we have a chance of another Ridgewolf wheeling in this next pack because we opened to win our first one. And if we play this and then cut that, then this could really help us stabilize if our early 2-drops aggression can't get through, right? So here's what I mentioned, taking that second Ripsaw from our first pack if it wheeled. And maybe we can consider playing it, but I really don't know. So there's that 2-drop we were talking about. We'll take that one. So we already have a Massive Might. Play a Witch's Web. I don't think we need the Pyre Spawn. I think with 3 Hunters now, a second Massive Might seems better than a first Witch's Web. Let's go ahead and take that. And we have a few cuts to make here, which is fine. Alright, so here at deck building, go ahead and cut lands for now. Sort by creatures here. Take a look at our non-creatures. So, a second Ripsaw. I don't know how that got in there. A second Ripsaw could be on the chopping block. We'll see. I think I'd like everything else here, though. We have 3 removal spells. We weren't able to pick up the green removal spell. Forgot about this glitch. Looks like it hasn't been fixed yet. I want to play 5 of these, so I'm going to see what the deck does. I'm going to make the cut as if I don't take it, and then we'll see. So, I think we need to cut from the 4-drop slot. A Rural Recruit is fine, and probably a Weary Prisoner. It has Defender. We're looking to be aggressive. And here with the last cut, assuming we can't play 5 Ridgewolves, I think it's going to be the second Ripsaw. Because right now we're at 16 creatures. So let's cut one of these. Let's add lands. And see if it lets us submit. If not, then they need to really fix that. So I think we're going to go 8, 9. There is an argument to playing 16 lands in this deck, but with 3 6-drops, I think this is fine. Yeah, so let's see if they'll let us submit and play with this deck here. Okay, so it looks like they're letting us go with 5 wolves. Although yesterday when we tried to cut the 5th copy of the tap spell, it wouldn't let us put it back in. So it seems like a little bit of a glitch, but let's go ahead and submit this deck and get in here. Alright. 2, 3, 4. Seems good. You have a 3-mana 4/2 haste attacking with a 2/4, potentially. Or we could just play this now. Get us one step closer to Flourishing Hunter. Alright, so I think because we don't have another land, I think we are going to play the Blossoms. Don't anticipate them blocking here. So we'll get in, and then we'll play the Blossoms, so that we can guarantee a Mariner next turn if they don't remove it. Okay, seems good. Yeah, that is pretty good for them. So we do have a Massive Might if we want to. Good draw for us there. So we can play Combatants, attack with all, and if they choose to make a double block, then we can Massive Might. But this would be a 4-2. So they'll likely single block the Combatants here. Let's see if they double block the Wolf. I doubt they will because they have Skullscob, which is an incentive to keep that on the field. But we can attack with the Wolf, Massive Might if they double block, and then play Hookhand Mariner. And if they don't, we'll just play the Mariner. So let's see if they block here. Didn't think so, so we'll go ahead and play the Mariner now. So that indicated they have Syncopate, because you can Syncopate for 0 if you get a stop after you play a card and they have a single blue up. So now we know they have Syncopate, so we're going to have to keep that in mind. So for example, if they play... Yeah, they play a 2-drop here and pass. We can't play Hunter next turn or it's going to get countered. Because they can X equals 1 for Syncopate. Good thing they milled that. Syncopate, there's another copy. Okay, so my turn. Alright, so they can Syncopate for X equals 1, which is fine. So we're going to go ahead and play the Combatants. We can still use this and Massive Might if needed. So let's give it to himself, and then we're going to go ahead and get in with all of these and see how they block, and we can mess them up with Massive Might because they can't Syncopate it. Okay, so the Cemetery Desecrator is likely coming back to their hand, but we're hoping to kill them before that makes a difference. So let's go ahead and Massive Might this. It's unfortunate for them. Must have not seen our Mana Dork on the field. And we did correctly put them on Syncopate there, so... Okay, so 5, so they can play their Desecrator next turn. So let's see. Exile another card from a graveyard right now. The most expensive one they can exile is a 2-drop, so they can give this -2/-2. Doesn't even seem that great. So do we risk running this out into another Syncopate? I don't know if we do. But let's see, so they didn't get any priority here. So let's go ahead and attack like this. Sure. Okay, so they're gonna play, let's see, so next turn, theoretically they play Cemetery Desecrator, they exile a Wretched Throng, give this -2/-2, and then we can attack for 4 if we play the Ridge Wolf. I don't like the possibility of them playing another Syncopate into this, but it lines up very well against the Desecrator if it does resolve. And it did resolve, so that's pretty good for us there. So they really can't play the Desecrator anymore, because then they just lose. Not necessarily, it would have to chump, but I mean... It's fine, they could kill it next 3, or next 4 now. So they're still priced into chumping the Hunter now. And we're 1 mana short of winning here. But we can dump our hand. So... Now they have to chump the Hunter. And now do we hold back the Ridge Wolf? Oh goodness, forgot about it. Does it on death too. Yikes. So they'll kill that. Now because they did that, I think we have to play the Ridge Wolf. Now, a sweeper would be awful for us here, but that's not something you can really play around in Limited. Unless you're in an enormous position. So let's see here. Because even 2 creatures doesn't save them now. That won't do it. That won't do it. Let's go ahead and equip. There you go. Okay. Nice little aggressive deck here. You see the value of 2 drops now. All those 2 mana 2/2s or 2 mana 3/2s that we have doing some work there. Great hand. 1 drop, 2 drop, and a 2 mana 3/2, and then another one coming, and keep dropping 2 drops, and hope they don't play a bunch of X3s, X4s, X5s. Nice removal spell. Would like to make sure we draw at least a 3rd and or 4th land here at some point, but at least we have something to do if we don't. That's the opposite. So let's go ahead and attack. And then we'll drop our 3/2. They might be stuck on color here. Ay. Okay, got their 2 for 1. We did draw out of that there, but fortunately can still only cast 1 card. So if they use their blood token here, they're almost assuredly stuck on mana. Probably discarding, okay, so blue-red, and they found their blue, unfortunately, so looks like we have a game here. Wandering Mind, okay. Interesting, alright. So we're stuck on 3 now. We do have an Abrade target, but I'm gonna go ahead and play this. Do I want to offer the trade here? I think I do. There is a flyer at the end of the day. It's difficult. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and offer the trade. Did push through an extra 2 damage. Because it has trample. So there's an Abrade target if we need to. If we draw a land, I think we just start dropping Mariners here. Make sure we can get on board. So I think we'll go ahead and do. And no attacks. So they can turn their spirit into a 4/4 flyer with Defender. I'd like to have a Braid up if they try to go for that, but we may need to just trade Mariner for that if they do decide to take that line. So they're 1 mana away from another turn here. Yeah. That's hard to get around here. So what we can do... So if damage would be dealt to while has a +1/+1 counter, remove that much 1/1 counters. and then it deals that much damage to a target. So we could abrade that, and then it would remove 3 counters, and then they can't kill either of our creatures. They would have to hit us in the face. It's not the most mana efficient play, but it lets us flip our Mariner, assuming they don't have a counterspell as their last card. Actually, it would. If we did it on their turn, it would kill the wolf. So I think we need to do it on our turn, just to make sure this doesn't get out of hand with throwing damage around willy-nilly here. So again, it's not the most mana efficient thing, but I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Let's see where they point that damage. Otherwise, it was almost an assuredly a 2-for-1 for them. So now we actually have an attack here. Yeah, and then we can trade this for that. And they're still getting a 2-for-1, but they wouldn't be dealing... They wouldn't be killing our 4-4 and another 4-4. So... Okay. That was just... okay. It still deals 4. Or does it deal 1? It deals that much. 1 or more, it deals that much. So I guess it dealt 1 to us there. Interesting. Okay. So they can take an extra turn here, but that really doesn't do anything for them. That does, with an extra turn. So we're gonna miss another land drop here. Draw a card we can't cast, and then attack for 4. So they can deal 10 to us now with an extra turn. But then on the backswing we could deal just 6 more plus the 4 would be 10, so... Looks like we need to kind of draw another land here for a hunter to try to stabilize, to protect from this extra turn that they're inevitably going to get here. So they are going to give that, and now it can attack. So that would be, let's see, 9, and if they use this, next turn they would deal 5 more, so we're technically dead here. Oh, they missed lethal, so at least there's that. But looks like we're still just not in a great spot here, so. We can gain 4, but they're taking another turn, so. Go ahead and get in. Yeah, so we're taking 5, and then they get another turn, and we can take 5 more, and then we die. So we'll make them do it, though. Looks like we would have been able to stabilize here if we had drawn that land 1 turn earlier to play double hunter, and then they wouldn't have had great blocks for us. So we're just so close there. Just 1 land away from the win, but couldn't quite close it out. Four, 4, 6, and a combat trick. We are on the draw, and we have a lot of 2-drops. I think we have to keep it and just hope we can draw ourselves out. Here comes an island, probably. Oh, it's not. Surprising. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. In case they play a creature, they won't know that this comes up on the stack. Seems like a small thing, but if they play a creature here, I would instantly get priority if I played a forest. And then if they have knowledge of the format, they can put me on exactly Massive Might in hand, and we don't want to give we don't want to give them that information. Now we'll go ahead and play this. Try to pass through their step as quick as we can. Yep. So let's go ahead, play our wolf, and we'll hold up Massive Might. Not something you really want to use defensively. So they're holding up 4 mana here. They have an instant. They don't have anything. Okay. Let's trade then. Or not. Just go ahead and play our 4/4. No, we could have gotten the extra damage out of that, but I wasn't sure that they were going to block anyway. And then they'd have perfect information on the block if we played it pre-combat. So they had 0 plays on 4 with 5 cards in hand. That's interesting. Maybe they're flooding out already. Still no plays. Okay. So this can't be blocked. We do have a Massive Might. Let's play Combatants and then leave up Massive Might. They very likely have a removal spell for our Riphook Raider. Although it is night, we can just play another one. It's another 6/4. Let's see. They don't. Okay. For that reason, I'm going to go ahead and keep back the Ridge Wolf then. Because it doesn't look like they have anything here. So let's go ahead and play another 6/4, and then they're just dead if they don't do anything. So they have to have something now. It's 6 mana. That certainly is something. So let's go ahead and play our 4-drop and pass. It's hard to play around sweepers this early in the format. I mean, I don't have knowledge of exactly every single one that exists. It made sense now that they weren't playing any creatures, but I still think we're in a fine position. All we got to do is drop a hunter, and what are they going to do? We have double combat trick in our hand as well, so yeah. So let's go ahead and play the combatants here. We'll give it to itself. Then we'll get in with everything. This gets trained. And then we can save anything we need to, or we can just kill them if they choose not to block. Okay, so right now we're dealing 1, 2, 6. We can give this can be 5, so we're dealing 6 plus 5 with the trample would be 3 more. So that's 9, plus an additional 2 is 11. Well, I know we're definitely going to go ahead and save this one. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so there's no need to use the other one. They do have a lifelinker, 4/3 lifelinker now. But we saved all our creatures and can save another one if we need. This could put that on that and gain 6, but they might just be dead on the backswing. So let's see what they have here. Fortunately, this Massive Might doesn't do. Okay, so they're just gonna go all in on killing that there. Do they attack? No, they can't attack. I'm gonna leave them dead to removal. Okay, so it doesn't have haste. They will gain 4 life from this, but I really don't want them to put this on it. So we can 2-for-1 ourselves here, but we're also going to drop 2 more creatures this turn, which seems like a decent deal with 2 unknown cards in their hand. So let's go ahead and attack. That even makes the land a good draw, because then we can just drop a hunter, right? So play Massive Might. So we push through for 3, but they gain 4. So we'll go up to 4, and then we just drop our 2 more creatures and hope they don't have another board sweeper. So they didn't rummage away. Okay. So they can transform that, but they won't. Alright, so we don't have outstanding attacks anymore. Here's the land. Let's see, if we attacked with all, they would eat this, block that, take 2, and go to 2. Doesn't seem great. And this, turning it into a Revealing Eye, won't do anything after we drop the hunter here. So I don't think we can attack. And we gotta hope the hunter survives. Now lands are obviously awful draws for us, so I think 17 lands has seemed fine for this deck so far. So what does that do? Draw a card. Oh, they don't get to draw cards out. Okay, so we still have good attacks with the hunter. They would have to double block or chump. So if we attacked with everything, they would be able to eat the combatants, bounce the wolf, and chump. Yeah, so let's attack with the hunter and the ridge wolf. They might just bounce off the curtains with the ridge wolf, but I think that's okay. I don't want to expose this combatants to combat. Now, if we do attack with this wolf, they could bounce it, but then they don't have... No, they still have a good double block. They could bounce, and then double block. Which seems like a fine trade. They could double block this, bounce this, and chump that. Yeah, I don't think we necessarily need to attack with that one. So let's go ahead and attack like this. See if they chump. Or if they double block. So they are going to chump here. And they can't do that because they don't control an enchantment. So that's good for now. They kind of whiffed on their draw step here. We still don't have lethal, unfortunately. Four, 5 flyer. So now our hunter, unfortunately, there we go. There it is. Okay, so really hope this one doesn't slip from us again. We've already used both of our trample spells, and now they have a bunch of flyers and chump blockers. So unfortunately, because that does, if they do choose to attack like that, that does open all of the attacks for us, which is great. They're getting very aggro here. Yeah, I didn't think they would. Yeah, they can't do that. Okay, so we can... Yeah, so we'll just keep drawing lands here, and then we'll go ahead and attack like this. And this. This would trade for a spirit, essentially. Yeah, so let's attack like this. They'll bounce, probably chump. Yep. Alright, so Basically have to win with what's left on the board here because we can't seem to draw out of it. And they seem to be drawing all creatures at this point, so bit unfortunate for us. Let's see. I'm not sure if we have an out in our deck, but we're going to try. I think we have to keep attacking with Hunter. We can't just sit back, so they can double block, but we do have another in the deck. Yeah. We've gotten rid of most of our bigger creatures at this point, so. Okay, so at least they're getting rid of their indestructible creature by doing this. So what do we want to get rid of? Definitely these two here. Yeah. Let's get rid of those two. Play another wolf. They do have flood protection as well with 3 blood tokens, so that's a bit unfortunate for us. Maybe they'll have 4 lands on top of their deck. Well, they had 3. Okay. Alright. Pretty good draw for us there. Still don't have attacks though, unfortunately. So basically if we attacked, they would eat the 3/2, but then they would have to chump at least one of these. Right? Is that worth it? Well, they wouldn't chump. They would trade. So they would eat and trade and go to 2. This doesn't have trample. Then we would have 2 creatures to their 2 creatures, and they would be up to their top deck, and our creature would be better. And they would have 3, because they would have the 1/1. That's difficult. I don't know exactly here. So next turn, if they don't draw anything, they'd go to 2 with what we have on board. And we do have a good attack here. So I'm gonna let it sit one more turn and see what both of us top deck here. Hopefully they don't have a 2-power creature to draw another card. Probably the best draw on their deck there. Because they all get Vigilance as well, so that's really nice. Nothing has Reach. And we can't take it all. We're taking 8. Even if we choose to block this one. Oh, geez. So we're taking 8, and the next turn we're still taking 4. So we're on 2-turn clock after this. This has Menace, and we have to block it, so we're going to go ahead and do that. They're going to trade for the Hunter, but there's really not much we can do in that situation. Nice little top deck by them. We'll take another land, have no attacks, and then pass it back. So we're dead next turn. Because of their attack with the vampire. Alright, there we go. That sounds about right. So usually whenever I get to the point where I play all my creatures out, my deck is like, hey, you don't need those anymore, do you? Can I interest you in all of the lands? So we almost got there, but then we just ran out of steam from the top decks. Let's get back in there. Seems like a pretty good aggressive deck here. Don't know why we're not winning. Can't mulligan that. So we can hope they don't play a 2-powered creature here so we can attack with the combatants. As we will. Gonna braid that and play a wolf, or we can play the rural recruit and offer to trade. So let's see if they want to trade here. I think I'd be fine with the trade, and they do, which is fine. Go to damage. Hopefully they whiff on their trigger, and we'll play the recruit. Really thinking about this trigger here. Go ahead and dump a 5-drop. So hopefully they at least don't have an X4 next turn, because if they have an X3, we can kill it, train, attack with everything, and play another creature. Or we can... Yeah, so... I think we want to be able to train this, and we don't want to lose our boar, at least not yet. So let's go ahead and braid this. Okay. So now we can attack with the boar. And maybe they want to give it... They want to trade, maybe not. They don't, so then... We'll go ahead and play the Ripsaw, because then next turn we can equip and play a creature. So if we put this on the boar, we have a 6/4 that trains this into a 2/2. This still isn't a great attack, though. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and equip. If we equip this, we have a 4/4. Let's go ahead and equip the boar. Whenever another creature you control dies, transform it. So if they choose to chump with the skeletons, we're going to go ahead and bolt the farmer before damage here. Decline. Blockers. Looks like they will, so we'll go ahead and bolt the farmer so that they don't get the transformed version of it. This returns it to hand. Oh, a battlefield tapped. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay. So they have removal for the boar. So here the Ripsaw doing some damage, because we can just start throwing that thing around if they kill the creature that it's on. So makes all of our creatures into threats. Okay, so it doesn't seem to do anything right now. Let's go to combat. They don't have any effects, so we won't sack forest. They can double or they can chump here. We'll double block. It's fine, because we can just put the rips on something else. Do that. And then we'll just put it on the wolf so that it can train this in the event that they don't play a blocker. And I played the land because it's important to have extra lands out, as many as you can when you have equipment on the field. So I'm sensing a bounce spell here, but we're going to go ahead and attack anyway. It's nothing. Okay, so we have 6 lands. Go ahead and keep this one, though. So, if they don't do anything and pass with all their mana, I don't think I'm going to go for lethal here by sacking a forest, because all they have to do is bounce this, and then we just lost a forest. So what I will do, so go ahead and play the land, go to combat. They didn't get priority here, which means sacking this forest would be lethal. Yeah, they got no priority. So that tells me they don't have anything, unless they passed right through it. We don't necessarily need this forest right now, but we do have 2 hunters in the deck, and if they somehow expertly pass through it, I don't think we need to risk it. So we're just going to go ahead and let this happen. Yeah, and then we can play our Mariner here. Looks like they might have Syncopate or something. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We're still in a decent spot here. Yeah, we have lethal. Unless they do something about it. Hopefully no board wipe. That won't do it. And we got that one there. So we've either gotten across for lethal or gotten very, very close a couple of times and not quite gotten there. So could very easily be 0-3 or 4-0 with this deck right now, based on how the games have gone so far. Great curve. Another blue-black deck on the other side here. We're curving out quite nicely here. We have a trick to boot, so let's see what they come out on turn 3 with. Archduel. Okay, so we're probably just going to go ahead and first strike whatever they block to get rid of it, and then pump the Snarling Wolf here. Pretty good block by them. We can attack for 9 here if we sure striked one of these and traded. But I think I want to go ahead and keep the Snarling Wolf around. We don't have to do that, but we have nothing else to do, so may as well. So every time our opponent has cast this card, they haven't hit a zombie. And again, did not. Again, here, this is another reason why Wanderlight Spirits underwhelm this format. It does stone cold nothing on this board here. So do they have an X4? If so, that kind of stonewalls us here. Let's see. Desperate Farmer. Not quite an X4. But still have good attacks here, so that's an interesting block. There's no board wipes for 5 in this set. I know that for certainty. So I think we're fine to play this Ridge Wolf here. And that's how you curve out. One more win till platinum here. A nice little mythic. Alright. Alright, in we go. We've broken the 2 and 3 streak. See if we can keep it going now. Yeah, we'll keep that. The red-green mirror. I think we'll start with the Ridge Wolf here. So that we can play this and it can attack as a 3-2 if we needed to. So it's just a 3-3 that can flip into a 6-3 here. So we can offer the trade at a mana advantage here, or we can just abrade it, because if they do just pass their turn, they have a 6-3, although our abrade is still good against that. So let's go ahead and cast the wolf and offer the trade. I wouldn't think they'd trade, but you never know. No blocks. And that stonewalls us very nicely. So, however, Sure Strike can get through that, and then we can also just abrade it. So why don't we... We do have Hookhand Mariner, we could also just drop that, but I think this is a good trade for us, because then they could end up with a 6-6 if they pass. So, let's go ahead and attack with that. I can't imagine they'll block, knowing that we probably have Sure Strike. Okay, well they do, so we'll go ahead and trade a Sure Strike for their Weary Prisoner. Go to damage. We're just going to go ahead and raid this now so they don't have any kind of trick that can save it. So still large toughness could stop our aggression here. I'm fine trading either of these creatures for a Death Toucher. Same with that. So yeah, so I'm fine trading either of these for Death Touch. And if they want to try to bounce our wolf, we can save it. Or kill it. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. They might just not block and try to attack with both next turn to flip their suitor, which is fine. Sure, that happens. Play our Mariner, hold up Massive Might. Hopefully they don't have a... Okay. That's a good card. Interesting. Okay, so we can... go ahead and play the combatants here. Probably give it to itself, and then just get in. We'll see how they block. If they block Ballista Watcher on combatants, we don't need to use Massive Might, because it would still trade. But we have some decent options depending on how they block here. So right now they're taking... Okay, so... Yeah, they can make that trade, and we'll go ahead and save our Mariner. See what their follow-up is. Okay, a 1-1 and a 3-1. And a land. Alright, so now we get to the point of the game where we draw nothing but lands. So let's see if we can get past that and close it out before they drop some big 6-drop bomb. Sure. Still leaves me with the only board presence, and you at 5 and me at 17, so... Okay, no more good attacks. There's a good draw for us. Don't think that's lethal necessarily, because we have a 5/5. We can only trample, so we won't sack a forest. Spike Ripsaw has been impressive so far, so... That should probably do it against red-green. Can't remember if we ran the second Ripsaw. I'm going to go back and check. Because honestly, having access to Ripsaw has seemed very important in these games. I think we've won each game that we've gone ahead and cast it. So let me go see if we have that second one in our deck or not. I don't think we do. So we don't, but what would we cut for it is the problem. Maybe a Massive Might, but that's also been pretty impressive in this deck. Sure Strike has also been impressive. I don't want to cut another creature. We're at 16. Maybe we could cut a land, but then adding a 3-drop that has equip 3 and cutting a land doesn't seem great. So, as impressive as the Ripsaw has been, I think I'm going to continue with just a 1 for now. Decent hand. Double Massive Might's not great unless we can draw more creatures, but I think it should be fine because Tony's crazy, so never know what to expect from Tony. We can go ahead and kill their 2-drop here, assuming they have one. That's not quite what I meant, but okay. Play our creature. Next turn we can play a Ridge Wolf and then leave up either Bolt or Might. Yeah, so... Can't block. I think we want to leave up Bolt here. So let's play Ridge Wolf and leave up Bolt. Target creature can't block whenever you sacrifice 1 or more blood tokens. That seems pretty good. But we have a nice little aggressive start going here. Good target for the Bolt. They still aren't going to attack with it, so let's go ahead and bolt that. We could abrade. We could also just Daybreak Combatants. We don't necessarily need to abrade this because it's not blocking us, and right now we're the aggressor, they're not. So... yeah, they need to attack here. Forest would not be an awful draw. Okay, so there we go. There's the forest. So what we could do here is just go in with all Sure Strike, double Massive Might. I mean, I haven't done the math, but what if we abraded 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so let's go ahead and abrade. And then we'll just massive might. That should do it. Seemed like there were multiple ways to close that out there, but anyone is fine. Alright, can we win 2 in a row here? Flourishing Hunter being the worst card here. A forest opens up a massive might for another Ridge Wolf, so I think it's a keep, but it's a dangerous one. Don't really think you can mulligan this hand, however. Let's play Ridge Wolf and hope to draw forest, probably. Right on cue. Okay, so let's go ahead and hold up the bolt here. Hopefully they play an X2 and not an X3 or an X4. Massive Might works well against that. So let's go ahead and get in there. Cast Massive Might, hold up a braid. Hopefully it's just a random 4 mana 3/3 or 1 mana 3/3. Okay, let's see if they have a follow up here. They don't, so let's see if this resolves. It doesn't, okay, and that's pretty bad for us, because now we can't even attack. So, just build out our board. We could have 2-for-1'd ourselves to get rid of that here, but I don't know. Yeah, okay, so our aggression and missing of land drops is going to start to turn the tides in their favor here, so. Yeah, 2 mana 3/2s are fine, but at this point, at least one land might be good. Can't kill that. I think if they attack... Okay, so they don't attack. There's a land. We still don't have attacks. We just have to play the Mariner. Hope they don't have Syncopate. Looks like they might. They don't. So no attacks. At least our Mariner has good attacks here. Okay, so that's strictly aggressive card on this board. They do attack with Witness. Yeah, so let's get in there with the Mariner. And then follow it up with the Recruit. Okay, so clearly they have some sort of combat trick here. Okay, so they're just going to return it to their hand to get another insect. Yeah, they're delaying quite a bit. Maybe if they overcommit here at some point with these 2 attacks, that we can use the bolt and kind of get in there. But let's see, so what do we even have if we do that? So if we bolt one of these, they have 3 blockers. They can block this, this, and this. They would take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And they would eat a lot of things if we did that too, but I'm not sure Hunter would help us stabilize if we drew a land next turn. These flyers are going to kill us here if we don't do something about this quick. Okay, I'm going to hold it off one turn here. Go in with the Mariner. I'm fine with the trade for the Lancer, honestly. If that's what they want to do. If they want to chump, it's also not the end of the world for us. Because we do have a removal spell, and we do have a lot of creatures on this board, so they don't have great attacks. Well, fortunately now Infested Werewolf being the backside means they do. So it's a +2/+2, so we're going to take 5, 6, 7 now and be dead next turn. Let's hope they don't count on removal here. So they don't attack with Infested Werewolf, which is good news. Well, probably thinking about it here. Yeah, there they go. So, yeah, so resolves, blockers. Right now we're taking 8, 9, 10, 11, which is fine because we have to win next turn. We have no shot if we don't. So let's take 11. Okay. I don't think we have it now, so let's go ahead and just try to get rid of one of their blockers and see what we can draw here. I think another land does it. So what do we have? They have 4 blockers, and yeah, we certainly don't have enough to get through here. So we play a Hunter, we gain 4, we take 7 next turn. Yeah, we're at 1. So go ahead and get in there. Maybe they accidentally click through blocks or something. Alright, once again, got pretty close. Got him down to 5, but flyers seem to be the name of the game in this format as well, so definitely a better showing today than the rest of this week. I like green-red as a deck. Seems to be pretty aggressive, and 2-mana 3/2s seem pretty good, right? So thanks for hanging around if you're still here all the way to Friday after a week of mediocrity, but looks like that'll do it for today's video, and thanks everyone for tuning in, and I'll see you on Monday for your daily draft.